Hey guys, Phil here. And all this week we are going to be talking about landing pages. But before we got too far into it, before we started getting into the nitty gritty of actually implementing one, I wanted to talk about just the general theory of them. That way everybody has a nice solid foundation under their belts as we get into things. So without further ado, welcome to Landing Pages, a crash course. So what is a landing page? And most importantly, what makes it different than a home page? Well, homepage really doesn't need much explanation. First and foremost, it's a general page. It serves many, many purposes. It's the place where someone who is coming to your site in an undirected manner is going to land, where a landing page is much, much more focused. It's going to have a single purpose, a single goal, and usually that goal is going to be defined somewhere generally in this thing, like this. So to target and capture a visitor's information, known as creating a lead through a lead capture form, or converting a sale through a sales form or quote request. So just think about that for a second. We've all seen these on the internet all over the place. The very point is that these pages are targeted mechanisms that allow you or the person running the page to make a value proposition to a potential customer and use a call to action and provide incentive to get them to take an action that benefits your business. And this, of course, works best when you use many of these pages targeted in many various ways. And so that's kind of what we were talking about here. So just again, so what is the point and goal of these landing pages? Well, there's the general sense that we just talked about, creating marketing leads or to sell a product. We might also use it to highlight a promotional offer that we're using to increase our business. We might use it to try some new things in our business, maybe test new products or new ways of doing things. Or finally, and probably the one that is most relevant right now, which is to take advantage of short-term opportunities. And what I mean by that is, let's give an example right now, and that would be making a page that would be, say, targeting a tents at medical offices or hospitals right now who are in great need of them, or a hand sanitizing station at large businesses who are looking to place them up front. These are things that, clients that I have are doing and doing well right now and making good money at and keeping their businesses afloat, which is extremely important right now. Now, another thing that you're going to see landing pages used for quite a bit, especially in this industry, as an SEO target to target and rank for specific keyword and area combinations. So what I mean by that is, look, if someone who might be looking to say rank for party rentals in blank town in X state, or something along those lines. Landing pages are a great way to kind of build out authoritative content on your site that allows the landing pages to begin to think that you have a lot of authority for those search terms. So what are the components of a good landing page? What makes up what we think of as a good, proper landing page? Now, first and foremost, you're going to have a headline and optionally a sub-headline. And we'll get into what that means here in a moment. From there, we're going to have a brief description of your offer that clearly emphasizes its value. Then at least one supporting high-quality image, and video is even better, but we'll talk about that again in a little bit. Supporting elements such as testimonials and other social proof. And finally, but most importantly, a form to capture the visitor's information or to convert that sale. And now let's just take a moment for a bad joke. This is just a visual representation of what a bad landing page might be like. Okay, so on to talking about landing pages themselves and some tips. First and foremost, you got to keep it simple. These pages aren't about visual. I mean, they can be about visual splash. They can be visually interesting. But first and foremost, you want to keep them simple and clean. You want them to flow well. You want, let's just back up. You want everything of value, everything that you feel is going to make that sale or that action you wish to happen. All that meat needs to be what we call above the fold, meaning that you need to get all that information above where they are going to scroll to need to see it. And to do that, you need to keep your message and your branding and everything simple. Next up, choose your colors and typography carefully. And what I mean to that is don't necessarily be a slave to your branding. Think carefully about color psychology. Think carefully about the fonts that you're choosing and what they say about your company, what they represent in terms of what people might think about them. There is no hard and rule-based way to do this. Do your research, use common sense, but definitely put thought in it. Just don't randomly choose these things. Next, it's all about the content. And what I mean by that is you have to write good copy. To rank well, you need 200 to 300 words or more on any single given page page that you have on the internet. So, and all of that copy needs to be punchy. It needs to use what we call power words, meaning that power words are words that cause an emotional reaction or they trigger someone to take an action. A good example of this might be not using the word submit on a submit button, but instead saying explore, or explore our inventory, or don't just say get a quote. Say get a quote today. You want to add scarcity to your language. Make sure that people feel that they need to move now or they might be missing out, or by moving now they can save more money. These are things that that take time and take effort to do, but they are definitely worth your while to think about. Now it's all about that content part two, and we talked about this a little bit, that we want to make sure that that value proposition that you are making happens right away. It is above the fold. And again, create that sense of urgency and scarcity. And then probably the most important point for me that I know that when I'm writing copy that I think about is try to tackle every objection that you can think about from the user before they can make them, and tackle them in your copy. Just sprinkle this throughout. Just be thinking in an organic way of things that they are going to throw, the roadblocks that they're going to create in their own mind, and create ways around them for them. But that being said, definitely do not forget the image or your imagery. Imagery is so important. Make sure you use high quality imagery. Try to avoid stock whenever possible. And if you see here, I did say remember to optimize. I see this a lot. Don't go throwing 10 megapixel images on your site. But you can use large, beautiful imagery, but research how to optimize it, how to shrink it. You can always reach out to us for a little bit of help, of course, as well. But from there, really always try to use faces as much as possible, especially your own and your team and your customers' faces. It really helps to create a trust factor. It creates an emotional connection with your customer, and it will definitely supercharge your conversions. So remember that. But again, there is one more but. Video is even better. Today's consumers not just love it, they almost expect it. And not just that, it allows you to pack a lot more information and a lot more emotional value into a short amount of time, which of course, as you know, it's all about punch today. It's all about the fact that people have short attention spans, not much time to give. So again, if you can create video, do so. I've seen a lot of people make great use of drone video, especially on sites. So yeah, whatever you can get, use it. Now, finally, SEO. When you're doing this, and I know that you guys aren't pros like we are, but just if you find yourself building a page, just try to think about what every action you take, how is this going to affect the eventual speed of my page? Think about the overall health of your website. When I talk about technical SEO here, make sure that there is an H1 tag on the page. Make sure that you have plenty of content. Make sure your images have alt tags. These are things that you can research and look out for that, of course, we'll talk about later on down the road. And again, as always, you can feel free to reach out to me to talk about it. But finally, again, and this links back to talking about content, is make sure that your content, that your headlines, and even your URL slugs contain lots of keywords and that lots of density, and that you are honing in on those keywords that you want to target for your business as much as possible while still being organic in your content. Next up, optimize for mobile first. Remember, most of your customers, their first experience of your website is likely going to be on their phone. But that being said, don't neglect the desktop either. Optimize for the phones, but take advantage of the extra space on desktop to make your sites and your landing pages beautiful. Next up, social proof. This one's extremely important, and I don't see it on nearly enough landing pages or really just sites in general. Find a way to get some testimonials and reviews on there. Linking back to videos, this is a great place to use video. And for those of you for those of you of IO awards, this is a great place to show your awards. But even the other ones, other awards, other accolades you've gotten, put them out there, show them proudly. Link them back to your customer reviews, and bring them all together. And again, you're going to be increasing the trust in your business. And just like with mix of everything else, this is definitely something that will help conversions. Next up, make sure the page is shareable on social media. Make sure that people can link this to Facebook. Make sure that if you have good imagery that's good for this, make sure that they can get it on Instagram. Make sure people can talk about this on social media. And if you can, make sure that you provide incentive for them to do this. Next up, make sure that you show where you're at. Increase the trust in your business by including Google Map data. And along with that, lots of contact data. Make it easy to get a hold of you. Now, that being said, I know something I hear all the time when I talk to clients is, that you prefer a certain means of communication. By all means, funnel people into that form of communication, but make sure that whatever you do, it is easy. I definitely highly recommend looking into live chat agents for your website. That kind of links into it as well. But the more that you can do to show that you are open, available, transparent, and ready to talk, the more you'll increase your trust factor in your pages, in your business itself. And then linking back into kind of incentivizing people to do what you want, like sharing or moving on or converting that sale. Make sure you incorporate promo codes, discounts, and coupons. These are great on landing pages, and they're really going to help you to convert. And then finally, your form. Your form is probably the single most important thing, of course, because this is where you're actually creating that lead, actually making that conversion. So make sure that you continually optimize your form on your landing pages. You really should be trying to collect as little as possible to what we call decrease friction. That will, of course, increase your conversions. And then when you have call to action, specifically like submit buttons or anything along those lines where you are trying to move people towards an action, really make sure it's specific and really make sure that you are selling your value proposition. Again, like I talked about earlier, avoid words like submit on a button, and make sure that people, if it's a button that takes them to your inventory, make sure that you're using words like explore. Again, power words. If it's a button that leads to an actual action, like say completing a quote, let them know that you're going to get your quote today, or create excitement. You find the most powerful imagery and word and typography you can use to express all of this. And again, all of that's going to carry through in your branding and your messaging, and it's going to increase conversions. So that was pretty much the meat of it. As we move on through the week here, we're actually going to get into the nitty-gritty of how to build these. We're going to kind of circle back on these concepts, and we're going to actually see them in action throughout the week. If you like, feel free to reach out to me as well, and I can also provide you with a download, a PDF format of this presentation if you'd like it for your records. And other than that, thank you for watching, and I will continue to see you guys throughout the week for more of these lessons. Thanks, and have a great day, everybody.